Hi, I'm Brandon,
And I'm Mom.
and welcome back to Tansson Talks TV.
Thank you for joining us again today.
Yeah, this is always a pleasure doing this, and Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine, Brandon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. This is a great day thus far, and I know it's going to get even better when we head into this discussion.
It sure will.
Well, Mom, I know this is the end of our animation April, and Mom, what show are we speaking about for our final version?
Today we're going to talk about the Rugrats.
The Rugrats is a series that aired on Nickelodeon and was produced by Nickelodeon Animation Studio and Klasky Chapeau, and it aired from 1991 to 2004.
Yep, it sure did, Brandon. And like always, we're going to talk about the premiere episode of this series.
Yes, that episode is titled Tommy's First Birthday.
Yes. You ready for me to get started, Brandon?
Whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. So, just as a brief little synopsis, as Brandon said, it's called Celebrating Tommy's First Birthday. And so, this episode is exactly that. Tommy is 1 year old, and his parents are going to throw a party for him for his first birthday. His mom is very by the books in regards to raising him, especially when it comes to him. Um, with him eating new things. And so on the day of his birthday, his mom takes out the book and she decides what he's going to read next. I'm sorry, what he's going to eat next. And so she provides food for him. And of course, he really is not that thrilled with that. But anyway, and so they did everything that the book kind of told them to do, to make the funny sounds, things like that, to make your child eat. Well, Tommy starts watching TV and he sees a dog food commercial. He is fascinated by the dog food. And so Tommy decides that he wants dog food. And of course, they happen to have a dog. And the dog food, of course, is on the ground. So he eyes it, and that is what he wants. And basically, the premise of this episode is two different things. First, it is involved around Tommy's birthday, and then it's also involved about this dog food and how Tommy really wants this dog food. Um, and so the children gather for his birthday. And while the children are alone, one of the unique things about this TV show is that the children can speak to each other and understand each other at the age of 1. So they're all babies. And so, with the exception of a couple of the older cousins, they are all babies in this particular show. And so they talk amongst themselves about dog food, and Tommy tells them how he wants this dog food and how they'll be able to act like dogs if they eat the dog food. And so they do everything in their power to try to get this dog food that, of course, is in the kitchen. At the end of the episode, they are able to get the dog food. They do eat it, decide they don't like the dog food, but yet they run around and act like they're little dogs. They start barking at each other, and the parents are kind of amused. Now, there's another storyline, as I mentioned, going on in regards to the party. So yes, so you will need to watch the episode to see what kind of shenanigans that the party guests kind of have going on.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for your synopsis.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and you can head right into your top 10.
All right, Brandon. So, as I mentioned, one of the top 10 is that the babies talk when adults aren't around, and they kind of gather in a little group and they hold a conversation. We understand that Tommy's parents, like as I mentioned, are really by the books. They read the book, they see what they need to do. One of Tommy's good friends has come over. Their mother is actually a nonchalant parent. Her name is Betty. And so she's a nonchalant parent to her child. Then we noticed from this first episode that the parents and the grandparents are also active in Tommy's life. Um, Tommy has a cousin named Angelica. I guess she's 3, 4, I'm not sure. But anyway, the babies don't like her. And so that's important to note. Um, they do have another cousin named Chewy, and they do like Chewy. But we also know that Angelica and Chewy are the children can actually understand the babies. So they are young people who can understand the babies. And then kind of like the last question, although I couldn't quite figure it out, was that the fathers like to invent, if Tommy's father, if he likes to invent or build things. In this first episode, that's kind of important in regards to the present that he gives Tommy. But I couldn't tell if this is a one time thing or whether or not this is something that is going to occur in other episodes, because they make a big point of him going to the basement and looking at what his creation, and then opening his creation, then and family members go down to see him with his creation. So it makes me wonder if maybe this is something that could possibly go on for further episodes. And that is my top 10, Brandon.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for your top 10.
You are welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and to analyze this just a little bit further, so I feel like this episode right here, Tommy's first birthday, is definitely, I would say, a more traditional first episode in a sense, because you're able to see all the different major characters, and you're able to see a little bit as to their personalities, and for the adults, their parenting styles, and to discuss even the main babies in this case. So where you have Tommy, who is very brave and sort of like the leader of the pack, whereas his friend Chucky is very nervous, doesn't really want to go against the norm, and so you're able to see each of the different babies sort of showcased um, against Tommy, in terms of Tommy being the main character of the series and everyone else sort of being developed around him. And same sort of goes with the parents too, where you're able to see a little bit into each of their lives and sort of what they bring to the table. But Mom, I want to go ahead and bring this to our discussion.
All right, Brandon. And so, what did you know about the show before we watched this episode, rather?
So I will say that for me, I knew a lot of the Rugrats, and I've seen bits and pieces, and and maybe a few episodes when I was younger. But I can honestly say that I don't really know a lot about the series from watching per se. However, last year I did actually watch the entire series of the sequel series, All Grown Up.
Okay. And Brandon, I can say that I watched kind of like you, bits and pieces, only because you guys were little and I saw it was on TV. I never really watched the Rugrats. It was just bits and pieces and maybe an episode or two if you guys were watching them. But I did not watch the series. So to see this first episode, actually was kind of nice because I had never seen it before. I didn't know how it began. So it was fun to explore this particular episode. It did not feel like a long 24 minutes, as I've talked about with some of the other cartoons that we've watched.
Yeah, and I will say that something about this show, in comparison to some of the others, is that this one is made from the kids' point of view, or rather, should I say, the babies.
Yeah, it is. Even though it's from the baby's point of view, I find that it's actually for a parent watching it. It is not bad to watch. It keeps your attention, and I think is done well to be on two levels, where the child's level and then of course the parent's level too. And what also was something else that I liked about it was that they were actually the parents on there actually had a role. They just weren't the figures who kind of walked in and then left out. They actually had a real role in the particular in this, or at least in this episode anyway.
Yeah, I will say that that probably has led to the long running factor of it, and so the series had 9 seasons over the course of about 13, 14 years, and not only that, but 10 years in, it got a sequel series titled All Grown Up that lasted for, I believe, 3 seasons, and then it also 20 years after that also got a reboot series, and
Hmm.
it also had a film series too.
Yeah, I have seen not many and not a whole episode. I did see some of the All Grown Up, where I did see, it was just on. So I looked, and it wasn't, and I can say I probably never seen a whole episode, but I did see bits and pieces.
Yeah, and to comment on what I was saying earlier about having seen the whole series of All Grown Up last year, I had never seen the series. I had seen more of the original Rugrats than of the new series. I just knew that well, I guess new series
Mhm.
as of you know, 2003 or 4-ish actually, but I had never really seen it. I just knew it existed, so that's why I went back last year and went to watch it, see if it was any good. And I definitely enjoyed that, and so now having seen that, it was fun actually going back to this one because you're able to see bits of their later personality. I mean, truly within this first premiere episode.
All right, sounds good. It makes me wish I kind of watched a little longer, but like I said, I just did the bits and pieces.
Yeah, and but mom, what was I know that you are not much of an animation person, but yeah, but how was this process for you going through this viewing of the Rugrats?
Well, like I said, the Rugrats did not bother me because it was not per se silly. It had a plot and a storyline. I was okay with this particular episode of the Rugrats.
And how would you say it ranks, yeah, among your other animation April series?
Well, just to kind of reflect back to the ones we have seen, just for this month anyway, we did see the Flintstones and we saw Scooby Doo, um, Teen Titans, the Jetsons, and of course now the Rugrats. And so out of the group, the Jetsons still kind of intrigued me a little bit more. I don't know why. And I mentioned that last week too. So I would go for the Jetsons first, but I think I might put the Rugrats in second. Um, Teen Titans would still be five for me. So it would go, but it would go, I have a toss between Scooby Doo and the Flintstones, and it probably would be Scooby Doo first before the Flintstones.
Yeah, and overall, mom, would you watch the Rugrats again?
If it's on. I'm not going to look for it, but if it's on and I'm bored, yes, I might watch the episode.
And let me, yeah, I guess add this additional question too. Would you watch any of the other versions of the Rugrats? I know we just mentioned a few different ones.
Actually, I would because the little bits and pieces that I saw when you kind of watched it, it helped my interest. I think you made me watch one of them. I can't remember which episode, but but yes, I probably would watch the older generation of the Rugrats too.
But that's definitely good to know. And mom, I know there's a theme song, and so I want to allow for some time for you to speak about that.
Well, there's not going to be much time to speak about there, Brandon. It's instrumental, and I mean, it's fine. If I hear it, I know Rugrats. But I don't know, but it's not common enough for me to think that other people would know it if they heard it. So, I mean, it's okay for a theme song, and I do recognize it if I hear it.
Well, yeah. Well, I heard just a snippet of the instrumental song a few years ago in a sitcom. It was actually an episode of Sister Sister actually, and I had recognized it. It took me a moment to try to figure out to register where it was from, but sure enough, I was able to figure it out. So I think it's a very recognizable. So I think it's a very recognizable theme to it, and I do know that the actual pictures with it do grow as the series grows as well, and like the animation style and everything. So I would be excited for me to continue watching to see how everything goes and changes, especially considering I think they remain around the same age for most of the series.
Okay, that's good to know. And did you change your perspective on any of the shows that we've watched in regards to thinking about them all together?
So for me, I would say that having seen, I mean, yeah, all the animation Aprils, I believe this is number 5 now, the final one for this chapter. But I would say I was surprised with how long some of them felt in terms of length. And I know you spoke about this a little bit too, but I would say that like I thought the Rugrats was just the perfect length. It just felt like it flowed really well and held my interest of something different.
Hmm.
Whereas some of the earlier ones, like the Flintstones and Scooby Doo, Where Are You? I just felt they were enjoyable. Uh, I don't know. They just sort of felt the time.
Yeah, they did fill the time. I will say, when I watch Scooby Doo again, and yes, I will, it'll be interesting to see whether or not I think any of the other episodes feel the same way. And whether or not it was just the one first episode that felt like that, or if I think the other ones kind of move forward a little bit. I don't know if it's just because I'm familiar and I kind of know the plot dynamic. And that's why, and when I watched it this time, it wasn't just for plot. I was looking for, all the other things so that we could have a discussion on whether or not I would feel that that was a little different in watching it just for fun per se.
Yeah. And I will say too that for some of the early shows we spoke about, especially those from Hanna Barbera, the first three, the Scooby Doo, Where Are You, the Flintstones, and the Jetsons. Well, those three are of course animation classics. I will say that the Rugrats, I feel like, is a modern classic, one of the longest running shows on Nickelodeon. I believe it's the third longest running, in present day.
Okay. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see.
But yeah, but Mom, is there anything else that you want to say for this discussion right here, number 46 overall?
For this particular discussion, no. We'll have a new topic for next month, but no, I don't have anything else for the for our animation series or animation month.
Well, Mom, even though this is the end of our TV discussion, is there anything else that you want us to say before we close out here?
Yes, all of our audience, you'll have to check us out on our new channel. We will be premiering pretty soon. There'll be some information going out, but please look forward to us coming out on a separate channel. For a separate channel with us.
Yes, I'm very excited, to say that we're having a new channel beginning, very soon, and I can't wait for us to continue our Tansson TV discussions, and plus maybe a little bit more.
Yep, I'm looking forward to see what that plus is, Brandon. But yes, we have discussed this, and we'll be talking about a little bit more than just TV.
Yeah, so definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel as soon as you get a chance, and we're very excited to be making the move with you.
Yep, we're excited to have you along. I think in this episode, Brandon, are you going to include the new channel name at the bottom?
Yes, I certainly will. Definitely find it in the description of this episode on YouTube, and I'm very excited for, like I said, for what is to come.
Yep, I'm excited too. And this only involves, just for those who are watching, this only involves the our television series talks.
Yes, and so like I said, to recap though, this is number 46 overall. We have spoken about 45 different series and 55 episodes.
Wow, that's amazing, Brandon.
Yeah, and so I'm just really excited to see what the future has to hold for us.
Same here. And so, thank you guys for watching us today.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see you in the news channel at the same time.
All right, everyone, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye bye.